Hello everyone. Did you know that you can print a 3D printer by using another 3D printer? It's amazing, right? But before getting into that, I'd like to first introduce myself. My name is beyzabeycan and I am from Metallurgical and Materials Engineering Department. And today I'm going to be presenting you the developing technology of 3D printing. To be more precise, I'm going to explain you 3 advantages of 3D printing compared to traditional manufacturing methods. We are going to discuss what is 3D printing technology. Why is 3D printing more efficient than traditional manufacturing methods? And why is 3D printing technology so cool? First, I'd like to explain what is 3D printing technology, because in order to explain the advantages of it, we must first understand what is 3D printing, and in order to understand the topic better. The traditional manufacturing methods are classified as subtractive methods, which means that they use the principle of material removal in manufacturing the final product. As we can see in the first picture here, traditional manufacturing starts with a starting material, and then it has processes like machining in order to obtain the final product. The machining processes include cutting the starting material or smashing the starting material in order to get rid of some parts of the starting material to obtain the final product. On the contrary, in 3D printing methods, 3D printing method is classified as an additive method, which means it uses the principle of addition of material layer by layer, which means it starts from the scratch. It starts with no starting material, nothing. It only uses filaments and a 3D printer in order to create something from the scratch and obtain the final product. Understanding that, we can understand the first advantage of 3D printing, which is that it lowers production costs. Because 3D printing does not start with a starting material, one does not have to pay huge amounts of money to obtain that, to get that starting material, which lowers the costs, obviously. But another thing that lowers the production cost is that in subtractive methods, as I have mentioned before, one has a starting material and one gets the starting material is cut to get rid of the unrequired parts. But the unrequired parts are becoming waste. And in order to get rid of that waste, you have to recycle. So, which means that you now have recycling costs. So this is another expense that subtractive methods do that 3D printing does not. As we can see on the graph here, conventional methods have much more production costs than 3D printing methods to create the same sample. Another advantage of 3D printing is that its ability to produce complex methods. Subtractive methods cannot produce these type of complex methods. It can only produce shapes from like a Tetris game, simple, very basic shapes. But with 3D printing, you only have to write a computer code and send it to the 3D printer in order to obtain the complex models that you can see on the screen. You can see here the ball inside of the ball inside of the ball and the cut holes in it, or the man on top of a man and pushing the chair. These are very complex models. Another important advantage of 3D printing is its ability to customize. In subtractive methods, there are no ability to construct complex models. So you cannot customize or you cannot personalize the obtained product. And 3D printing is being used in many fields, and medical field is among those fields. Normally, when someone has had an accident and, let's say, lost their leg, normal prosthetics do not come customized, do not come personalized. So the person wearing those prosthetics do not feel very comfortable in them because the prosthetics are not created for their dimension, their body dimensions, their length of leg or length of arm. So if a person doesn't have a leg and has a prosthetic leg, they do not they are not very comfortable in that leg, so they can limp, they cannot walk properly. But when you create a prosthetic leg for someone using 3D methods, you can customize that leg, customize that prosthetic in order to fit for that person specifically, which means that they can be very comfortable in those prosthetics and they can walk very properly and they will not have any trouble, which is another very important aspect of the use of 3D printing technologies. So we have counted 3 important advantages of 3D printing, which are decreasing the amount of waste and saving money, the ability to create complex models, and the ability to customize and personalize the products, which are all very, very important in our lives. So these are my references, and thank you for listening a lot. You can go to those sites if you'd like and see those references for yourselves. And I hope the presentation was interesting for you enough to want to check those sites and learn more about 3D printing, because it is a very important and improving technology in our day. Thank you for listening a lot. Have a nice day.